Let's turn to the latest now in Sudan. Thousands of protesters once again marched on the capital Khartoum and other cities to protest against continued military rule. The protesters are opposed to the Sudanese army's decision to dissolve the Sovereign Council and the Council of Ministers. They're also opposed to the political agreement signed between reinstated Prime Minister Abdalla Hamdok and the military leadership. Hamdok had earlier assured the public that the agreement signed will lead to the freeing of political detainees and development aid. Well, as we know now, the trial of former President Omar al-Bashir resumes today in a court in the capital Khartoum under tight security. Let's bring you some analysis on this. We are joined by Thembisa Fakude, a senior research fellow at Africa-Asia Dialogues, joins us via Zoom from Johannesburg. Thembisa, former President Bashir certainly faces a number of legal challenges, both nationally, locally and internationally, but many of these are yet to be concluded. Talk us through why there have been so many significant delays to the legal process and what the implications of this might be.
Well, I think the delay has got a lot to do with the political problems that Sudan is finding itself at the moment, particularly with the coup and the reinstatement of Abdalla Hamdok, which happened after that attempted coup in inverted commas. So it's got a lot to do with that. But I think the other important thing is the list of the people that are supposed to be taken to the ICC. We are not sure yet who's going to be on that list. But I am of the view that the previous atrocities in Sudan were perpetrated by, amongst others, the two main leaders of the current Sovereign Council, that is Mr. Hemeti or Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, and the current general who's leading the Sovereign Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. So it's going to be very difficult to confirm a list without those two very prominent members who served with al-Bashir in the previous regime in that country.
Indeed, of course, this trial is about the 1989 coup. Bashir being tried for a coup that he led really over 30 years ago by an administration that is effectively a military government that's taking power from a civilian-led one. Would you say that it's a case of history repeating itself in Sudan?
Well, Sudan, as you know, is historically had all these kind of problems, but indeed, this is the history repeating itself. But I think what they will find more difficult this time around with the persecution of al-Bashir is how are they going to deal with Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who used to be the deputy of al-Bashir all the years. One will argue that you can't persecute Bashir without including Burhan. Secondly, how are they going to deal with the strong man, which is Hemeti or Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, who is still accused of the atrocities in Darfur, for example, under the Janjaweed, which is the paramilitary army that he controls. So it's going to be a very difficult one, and it will certainly be unfair to the eyes of the Sudanese one and to the eyes of the world if they continue with the persecution of al-Bashir without taking into consideration or also indicting those two prominent individuals at the moment in the Sudanese politics.
Indeed, a complex legal process set to get underway, particularly if justice is truly to be served. Thank you so much for those comments. Thembisa Fakude joining us there via Zoom in Johannesburg.